In the previous session, we have seen decision-making statements. In that, we have seen if-else. Okay, we'll see if-else again in the upcoming sessions in detail. But let's start with the if-else. Okay, let's see all like conditional statements: if-else, nested if, and all. Okay, so let's begin. This is if-else in C. So if statement alone itself, it's not enough. Okay. So the if statement tells us that if condition is true, it will execute a block of statement. Okay. Okay. Let me write it. From the if else, only the if statement I'm talking about alone itself tells us that if the condition is true, it will execute a block of statement. It will execute a block of statement. Okay. But what if we want to do something else when the condition is false, right? What to do when the condition is false, right? Let's say if x greater y, okay? So this is true, okay, fine. It will execute this statement, printf, that x is greater. This is fine, that when x is greater. But when x is, x greater y, returns false, but in that case, it doesn't print anything, right? So that's why we say, but what if we want to do something, okay, right? Something else when the condition is false, right? Something else when the condition is false. So there is no provision made when the condition is false. We made the provision when the condition is true. Okay, then if block will be executed. When the condition is false, we don't have any block to execute. Okay, so we can use else statement in that case. Okay, so we can use the else statement with the if. Okay, if statement, like to execute a block of code when the condition is false. So the else statement, it will be executed when the condition is false, right? To execute a block of code when the condition is false, right? So that means we can, above program, we can rewrite, like this. If x greater y, okay, we know that this is true, then print this, x is greater. But, when this condition is false, what to do? So in that case, okay, this else block we have. So in the else block, we can say that when the condition is false, meaning that y is greater. Because condition is false, because x is not greater than y, right? If the condition is true, means x is greater y. That time you execute if block. X greater y false, meaning in the else block you print y is greater. You understand? Okay. So now we can write a program. Okay. The age one. Okay. If else. So let me just, start the turbo C to explain you the if else. Okay, let me share the program to you. Here we go. Let's create a new file. Okay, let's create a new program. Here, okay. So in this one, we can write, hash include standard input output dot header file, hash include console input output dot h. Okay, then void main, and then clear screen. It will clear the screen and get ch. Okay, it will wait on the output screen. This is okay. We need what? We need to check if two numbers are equal or not. So I'll take x and y input. Okay. So here I'll ask user printf slash and enter number one. Okay, which goes in x. Okay. So I'll mention that scanf will read the number. Okay, scanf will read the number %d and put the number in the x. Okay. Similarly, you have to do what? Slash and enter number two, which goes in y. Okay. So scanf, we read the number and put it at the location y. Location y means ampersand y. Then now, we need to check if two numbers are equal or not. So we use if x equals y. Okay, so two equal signs you have to use. Okay, and else block. Else block is for false block, right? Meaning what? That when the condition is false, you are here. Okay, and when the condition is true, you are inside the. Look at here. You are inside if. So remember this. Condition is true, you are inside if, and your condition is false, you are inside else. So what do you print in the if? So you know that condition is true means x equals y, right? Condition will become true only when x and y values are same. So we can say x and y are equal. Let's use the slash n operator here before printing and say x equal to y. Okay, x equal to y. If this condition is false, meaning x and y are not equal, that you have to print it in else block. So we say in else block that x and y are not equal. Let's print this message. Okay, let's save this file first. Give it a name. This is my if else dot c. So let me run this file. Enter number. Okay, I will give any number like 25 and 35. See, it says x and y are not equal, which is correct. Control F9, I'll give like 150 and 150. X and y are. Do you understand this program? So let me just copy this program. Okay, to Turbo C. Okay, so that you'll get the code at the end of the session properly. The objective is finding two numbers x and y are equal or not equal. Okay, this is our assignment that you can do it after the session finished. So this is our program that you can try. This is if else. Okay. All right. So now we'll do nested if else. Okay. So let me just go to the. Let me just create a new program in here. Comment this one. Okay. So let me put here nested if else. Nested if else means if else. Okay, within if another if else. Okay. So let me explain you. Nested if in C is an if statement. Okay, like it's a target of another if statement. Okay, that is target of another if statement. Okay, like if within if. For example, let me explain you. We got if condition And see, within this if, we are writing another condition. Look at it. So this if statement, we have written inside this if statement. Okay. So this is called like if with the if statement is within another if statement. Okay. So it allows us to, nested if statements within the if statements. Okay. All right. So this is called nested if statement. The syntax I explained you. Okay. You can, like, this is one example. Okay. Now we're talking about if else. So another example will be like if condition one. Okay. Look at here. If it's a condition one. Okay. So we will write else block. Okay. So this is, two block and this is it. Now I can write, if else within the if, this is condition 2 and this is else. Okay. And I can write, same if else condition again inside the else. So this is like, if else within another if else. Okay. Basically, how it executes, let me explain. When first condition is true, then you know that this is executing. And for this to execute, okay, condition 2 has to be true. When condition has when 2 is also true, if block is executed. When condition 2 is false, else block will be executed. When condition 1 is false, else block will be executing. Okay, when condition 2 is true, then if block will be executing. And condition 2 is false, else block will be executing. You understand? So we can, see the example. See, for this, we need to go to the program. Let's create a new program. Okay, do you have my screen? Okay, let's write the program here. Okay, has include stdio.h, has include console input output.h. So void main and CLR will clear the screen. Get ch, okay, will clear the screen. And in here, we can create two variables x, y, and also z. Okay, because you want to check that which number is greater number. Okay, like x, y, or z. Okay, so what we will do, we will check here. We'll first write if else. Okay, we'll check x greater y. Okay, and else. Okay, so tell me in the if, you know that x is greater, right? And in the else, y is greater, isn't it? How is it possible? See, if x greater y, condition is true. True means if block will be executing. Okay. So x greater y true means x is greater. So that's why I'm printing x is greater here. This condition is false means we go to else. So when this condition becomes false, when this will become false, when x is not greater than y means y is greater. So, when it is false, we go to else, right? So here y is greater. But we are not going to print here x is greater and here y is greater because we need to check, okay, there is third variable. We need to check x with the z here and y with the z here. Okay, so we are not going to print here x is greater, but we know that inside if x is greater, okay, now we will check x and z, which one is greater. And we are not going to print here y is greater, okay, because y is not greater yet because we need to, now we will check y and z. Okay, so which one is greater? So we need to find greater number between x and z in if, and we need to find greater number between y and z. Do you understand this? Let me explain you again. See, this condition is true. Okay, so first thing you understand is that when condition is true, if is executing, and when condition is false, else is executing. Okay, now the meaning you understand. The condition x greater y true. Condition is true, x greater y. That means x's value is greater than y. Okay, so let me explain you the meaning here. X greater y true, meaning x is greater than y. Okay, meaning if statement block, code block will be executing, or if statement will be executing now. Okay, now see, x greater y. Okay, this condition is false, meaning that y is greater than x, meaning else statement will be executed. Okay, so see, for true x is greater and false meaning y is greater. So we need to print y is greater than x inside else and x is greater than y inside it. But we have third variable to check. Okay, so we don't come to the conclusion yet. We need to check x with the z. Similarly, the same way, okay, that we check x with the y. Same way we have to check. If x greater than z, okay, else x, like this block. Okay, we need to write it in here. And this statement we write it. Okay, look at here. So this statement we write it in else also. Look at here. So in the if also we have written, but in the else, y is greater, not x. So we'll change this x to y. Do you understand? Remember, when we are inside if, okay, that means x is greater. When we are inside else, meaning y is greater. Okay, so if we are inside if x is greater, so we need to check x with the z. And let's say x is greater, okay, meaning x is greater is true, okay. X is greater than z is true, means what? X is greater, okay. That we print it inside if block, okay. And okay, else block will be where what? See, here I will write it. Else block will be x greater than z is false. So else block will be executing. Okay. So in that we can say z is greater. So this is else block. Execute. You understand? So now let me write it here. Printf, we can say x is greater. So before you print, provide slash n. X is greater. And in here we can print z is greater. Okay, now look at here. So see, if this condition is false, okay, x greater y is false, meaning y is greater. Okay, so now we are going to go inside else block. Here we need to check y with the z. Okay, so if y is greater z, okay, y is greater z is true, meaning that y is greater, same as x. So that means it goes in if block. Okay, and else block will be executed when the condition y greater than z is false. Okay, so y greater than z is false, meaning that z is greater, meaning else block will be executed. So this condition is true, if block will be executing. This condition is false, meaning else block will be executing. So we will print the appropriate message. Print f y is greater and in here else block. So if you are in the else block means z is greater. There is greater. I hope you understand this problem. Okay, we need to use see if statement, if else statement here also in the if block, okay, and here also in the else block, okay. So that is the best example of if else statement. So this is like nested if, okay. So let me just save this file, give it a name, which is nested if, okay, dot c. So let me just go. Okay, run this program first. Y is greater. See, why it's giving y is greater? Because see, we haven't taken input yet. Okay, so let's take input. Okay, it is using garbage value. So let me ask user to enter number, enter x, scan percent d, location x. We are sending the value to x location. Printf, enter y, and we are going to send the value to location y. Okay. And now, if you run this, it is going to ask value for x. So I'll give 10, y5. Look at here. And okay, we need to take z also. Okay, sorry about that. Because here we are checking, okay, greater number, finding greater number between three numbers. Okay, so we need to take another input here. Three numbers we are taking input slash n, enter z, scan n, and third number will be sending to location z. Okay. Here we go, we give 10, we give 5, okay, and then 2. Now you see, clearly you see x is greater, right? Okay, 10 greater than 5, and then 10 greater than 3. Okay, see, x is greater. How it works? See, let me explain you. X is 10, right? Let me put value here 10 greater than y is 5. 10 greater than 5 true. Means we are going inside this if, okay? We are inside this if because this condition 10 greater 5 is true, right? So we are executing this block now. So here, let me put the values in here. Now x is 10 and z is 2. Okay, so 10 greater than 2. Again, this is true. Okay, so meaning if block will be executing. Condition is true means you go inside if. Now it means x is greater. You understand? So let's take different numbers now. Okay, so let me delete this and let me delete this one also. Let's take different numbers. Now this time I'll give x5, y10 and z2. Okay, see it means y is greater now. So let me explain you. X is now what? X is 5 greater than 10. Tell me 5 greater than 10. This condition is false. False means it goes to else block. Okay. Now we are here inside this else block. Now put the values of if y is 2 and sorry y is 10 and z is 2. Okay. So tell me 10 greater than 2. Now this condition is true. Okay. True means we go inside if we print y is greater. Do you understand? So let's just delete these values now. We'll test for z now. Let's run this program. We'll give here 5, 2, okay, and in here we give value 10. Z is 10 now. Okay, Z is 10. See, it says Z is greater. How it printed 5 to 10. Okay, let's check. X is 5. Let me put here 5. Y is 2. So 5 greater than 2? Yes, true. So we go inside if. Okay, true means we go inside if. Now 5 greater than 2 means x is greater, right? But we need to check with the z. Okay. So x is 5 we know. Z, okay, z is 10. Now to check it, x greater z. 5 greater z. Okay, 5 is not greater than z. Right? False. False means we go to else. Okay, so meaning that your Z is greater printed on the screen. Okay, let's put now different values. Okay, now let me just run it one more time. Enter. Here I will put 2, Y5 and Z10. Still printing Z greater, but this time X is not greater than Y. Okay. X is 2, Y is 5. 2 greater than 5, false. Let's put the values in here. See, here X is 2 and Y is 5. 2 greater than 5. Oh, this is false. Okay, this condition is false. Meaning we go to else. Now in the else we have to check y with the z. Okay, so let's check it. Let's put the values. Y is, y is let's say 5 and z is 10. 5 greater than 10. This is wrong. This condition is false. Okay, so that means we go to else part. In the else we print z is greater. Okay. So this is how we get the output. Okay. So let me go to the program, copy the program from the bin and paste it in the Visual Studio Code so that when I send this file, you get the code. So here we go. Nested if else finding greater number between x, y, and z. Three variables. Okay. Three numbers. And this is the program for it. Okay, these are like values. You can put values and test it. Okay, so I can just delete it for now, but you want to test different values of x and y, you can see, put the values here. If it's true, you execute if block. If this condition is false, you go inside else block. Then again you put values of x and z here, and you check. If this is true, you print this message. If this condition is false, you print this message, and see if you get the proper output, the output that you expect. Okay, so that's it for today's session. In the next session we'll see if else if ladder. Okay, all right, so I'll share this code to you. Keep practicing. Okay, all right, see you in the next session. Bye bye, have a nice day.